Hello everyone, this is Pavitra. So this lecture is going to be the continuation to the first lecture, and here I will be discussing majorly two concepts. First one is classification of accounts and the second one is what exactly an accounting equation is. Okay, so before getting into the classification of accounts, let's first understand what exactly happens if you don't prepare accounts at all. So let's assume you are just maintaining, you are just recording the transactions and not maintaining any books of accounts at all. So what happens? Just understand. So let's take cash account. So let's take an example of cash. Opening balance is 50,000 suppose. So after that you have purchased goods. So when you are purchasing goods, what you need to pay cash, right? So the cash balance is going to reduce. So that's the reason why minus purchases 10,000. And let's say after that you have made some sales. So when you are selling goods, you will receive money, right? So add sales 15,000. After that, let's say you have purchased a furniture. Again, when you are purchasing furniture, you have to pay cash. And again, you have received interest on investment. When you are receiving interest on investment, the cash account is going to increase, right? So let's say it is increased by 20,000. So likewise, let's assume there are 1,000 transactions in a day. Okay. So after 1 week, if you want to go back and verify a particular transaction which is before 10 days, then that will be very hard for us to do, right? Or else instead of recording transactions like this, what we can do is we can mention these additions on one side and these reductions on the other side. That will be very easy for us to calculate even the closing balance also, right? So that is what you will be doing by preparing cash account. So that is the reason why we need to have accounts for each and every aspect. Okay, so now you understood why we need to prepare account, right? So let's also understand what is the classification of account, because there are a lot of accounts, right? Like cash account, sales account, purchases, salaries. Likewise, there are n number of accounts. So there is a particular classification given to us. So let's understand the classification first. Okay, so let's understand what is the classification of accounts. So here I have mentioned all the classification. So this accounts, it is first classified into two: personal and impersonal. Again, this personal is classified into three: natural, artificial and representative. And this impersonal is classified into real and nominal. So let's understand one by one. So what is this natural personal account is? It's very simple. Let's say I have given a loan to a person called Ram. So in that case, in order to understand like how much amount I have to receive from him, I will be preparing Ram account in my books of accounts. So these kind of Ram account, Rahim account, or any kind of natural person who who is having real existence, that will be coming under this natural personal account. Okay, and what is this artificial personal account is? In the previous lecture, I have told you something about the separate entity concept, right? There I have told you that the business is different and the owner is different. So these businesses or the companies also given a separate identification, right? So that is the reason why, but we cannot include the companies in this natural personal account, because we cannot call it as a natural person, right? So that is the reason why we have another category called artificial personal account. And what is this representative personal account? In order to make you understand this, I will take you through a concept called accrual concept. So in accounts, there is something called accrual concept, which says all the expenses relating to a particular financial year has to be recorded in that financial year itself. Irrespective of whether we have paid or not, we have to record all the expenses in that financial year itself. For example, let's take an example and understand this. Let's take this 2011 and 12 one financial year, and 2012 and 13 another financial year. So let's assume we are paying salaries to our employees every month 10,000. In that case, the total salaries pertaining to this financial year will be 1,20,000, right? 10,000 into 12, that is 1,20,000. But let's assume the last month, that is March month salary, we have not paid to the employees, and we have paid that 10,000 amount of salary in the month of April. That is in the next financial year. So here what is happening is the expense relating to one financial year is paid in the next financial year. So what happens is the exact salary amount paid will be just 1,10,000. That is 10,000 into 11 months, right? The last month you have not paid. So only 11 months you have paid. So salary paid will be 1,10,000. But as per this concept, the total amount which we have to record in the books is 1,20,000. Right. But there is a gap between these two amounts, right? So that is the reason why we will be, introducing another account called outstanding salary account. That is 10,000. Outstanding salary means what? The salary which we have to pay but we have not paid. It is a kind of liability. Okay. So, and also take another example where, the salary of April month, that is salary of next financial year, we are paying in this financial year itself. In that case, salary paid will be 10,000 into 13 months, right? Normally 12 months, but we are paying one additional month also, which is relating to next financial year. In that case, salary paid will be 10,000 into 13, that is 1,30,000. Okay, but as per this concept, the amount which we have to record in the books is just 1,20,000. Again, there is a difference of 10,000. In order to fill this gap, we will be introducing another account called prepaid salary account. That is 10,000. Here we cannot say outstanding. Outstanding is something which we have to pay but we have not paid. But here we are paying salary in advance, right? That is the reason why we need to mention it as prepaid salary account. So these kind of outstanding, prepaid, and in case of income, what happens is if you are receiving any income in advance, that is maybe relating to next financial year, you are receiving in this financial year itself. That for that reason we will be preparing income received in advance account. Or else there is something called, if the income which we have to receive but we have not received, in that case there is something called accrual income account also. So these kind of adjustment accounts will be coming under this representative personal account. And what is this real account is? This real account will be consisting of all the assets like cash, furniture, machinery. All these assets will be coming under real account except these prepaid salary account or accrued income account. And what is this nominal account is? Nominal account will be consisting of all expenses, incomes, losses and gains. So these four will be included in nominal account. I have been taking an example of salaries, right? So these salaries will be coming under this nominal account because salaries is an expense. So this nominal account will be consisting of four things: expenses, incomes, gains and losses. Okay, so this is all about classification of account. Okay, so the next concept is accounting equation. So what is an accounting equation is? It says assets is equal to liabilities plus equity. So we have derived this equation from a statement called balance sheet. So in the previous lecture, when I was discussing about the process of accounting, I told you that we will be preparing financial statements in the year end, right? So that financial statements will be consisting of three things: trading account, profit and loss account and balance sheet. So this balance sheet is not an account, so that is the reason why we won't be having any debit and credit. Okay, so this is a statement actually. So this statement which shows the assets and liabilities as on a particular date. So the balance sheet will look like this. On right side we will be having assets and left side we will be having liabilities. So since it is not an account and it's a statement, right? So that is the reason why these assets will always be equal to liabilities. So that is where we have derived this accounting equation which says assets equal to liabilities plus equity. And this total liabilities will also include equity. So that is the reason why we are mentioning equity separately, because that is a owner's contribution. Okay. So what this accounting equation says is, this equation will get satisfied when you check at any point of time in a particular financial year. It means what? If you check after 1,000 transactions happen in a business, this equation is going to satisfy. That is, the assets will always be equal to liability plus equity. So let's check whether it is exactly true or not by taking 4 transactions as an example. Okay, so now I have taken 4 transactions as an example in order to check whether this equation is true or not. Okay, so the first transaction is capital introduced 50,000. So capital means what? It is the owner's contribution to the business, right? So here the owner is getting some cash into the business. So when the owner is getting cash into the business, the cash balance is going to increase. Cash is nothing but asset, right? So asset is going to increase by 50,000. That is equal to, so according to this equation, since asset got increased by 50,000, even on the right side, either liability should increase by 50,000 or equity has to increase by 50,000. So here, since it is a capital and it is a owner's contribution, liability will not affect. This equity is going to increase by 50,000. Okay. So here it got satisfied, right? This 50,000 equal to 50,000. So satisfied. And the next transaction is loan taken from outsider 15,000. So when you are taking loan, even when you are taking loan, also the cash balance is going to increase. So asset is going to increase by 15,000. And here, since it is from outsider and not from the owner, this liability is going to increase now, 15,000, and this equity will not get affected. And the third transaction is drawings made 5,000. So you first of all understand what is this drawings. So whenever owner is introducing capital, that is called as equity. But when owner is taking amount from the business, that is called as drawing. So here the owner is taking 5,000 from the business. So when the owner is taking 5,000, the cash balance is going to reduce and the asset is going to reduce by 5,000, right? And here this liability will not get affected. This equity is going to be reduced by 5,000. Okay. And the last transaction is we have purchased furniture of 10,000. So when we are purchasing furniture, this furniture is an asset, right? So asset is going to increase by 10,000. And at the same time, when you are purchasing furniture, we need to pay cash, right? So the cash balance is going to reduce, right? So the asset is again going to reduce by 10,000. So the net effect of this transaction on the assets is 0. And even on the liability is 0 and equity also 0. So now you understood that, at any point of time, if you consider this equation, that is going to be satisfied. So that is all about accounting equation and classification of accounts. And in the next lecture, I will, discuss about the rules of accounts, which is exactly based on this equation. So thanks a lot for watching. I'll be seeing you in the next lecture. Thank you.